Somewhere in your city there is a person who will quietly outlast everyone you envy. You would walk past them without a second glance. They do not announce their mornings. They do not speak of their plans. There is nothing about them that performs. And that is exactly how you know. I have watched disciplined people for thousands of years. Monks in cold cells, farmers who never missed a dawn, an emperor who wrote in his journal by lamplight in a war tent, with the enemy 2 valleys away. The loud version of discipline you see everywhere now, the announcements, the routines held up like trophies. I have watched that version too. It rarely survives the first hard winter. The real thing is silent. And across all those centuries, the silent ones shared 8 habits. 7 of them build discipline. The 8th is the one that saves it, and it is the opposite of everything you have been told. I will give them to you in the order I noticed them. The first. They decide once. An undisciplined person fights the same battle every morning. Should I rise? Should I work? Should I keep the promise? Every day, the whole war again. And the war is exhausting, and exhaustion loses. The disciplined ones I watched fought that battle a single time, won it, and never reopened the negotiation. The monk does not wake and wonder whether to pray. The question was settled years ago. The door to debate is closed, and so the strength that everyone else spends arguing with themselves, the discipline spend on the work itself. You think they have more willpower than you. They have less use for it. That is different. The second, they keep the promises no one would know they broke. Anyone can keep a promise with witnesses. The silent ones keep the promise made alone, in the dark, to themselves, the one whose breaking would cost nothing and be seen by no one. I once watched a stonecutter finish the back of a carving, the side that would face the wall for centuries. A boy asked him why he bothered. "No one will ever see it," the boy said. The stonecutter did not look up. He said, "I will." That sentence is the whole habit. Discipline is not built in public. It is built in the unseen hours, where the only audience is the person you are becoming. The third. They make the first move small. You imagine the disciplined leaping into icy rivers of effort. I have rarely seen it. What I have seen is 1,000 small thresholds, crossed without ceremony. They do not write the book. They sit at the desk. They do not run the great distance. They put on the shoes and step outside. The undisciplined wait until they can do the whole thing magnificently. The disciplined do the smallest piece of it now. The river is not crossed in a leap. It is crossed on stones. And the first stone is always closer than you think, and always smaller than you feared. The fourth. They guard the first hour. Watch how a person meets the first hour of the day, and you will know the shape of their whole life. The silent ones treat that hour like a spring at the source of a river. Poison it, and everything downstream runs foul. So they do not hand it away. Not to other people's demands, not to the noise of the world, which is always pounding at the door by sunrise with a list of things to fear. The emperor I spoke of wrote each dawn in a cold camp on a wide grey river, at the very edge of his empire, with a war waiting outside the canvas. He wrote before the generals were allowed in. The farmer walked his fields before he spoke to a single soul. The first hour belonged to the person they had decided to be, and only afterward to everyone else. The fifth. They let the urge pass without feeding it. Every craving announces itself as an emergency. The food, the comfort, the escape, the harsh word rising in the throat. It arrives shouting that it must be answered now. The disciplined learned the secret the rest never learn. The urge is a wave, not a tide. Stand still for a short while and it breaks and recedes on its own. They do not wrestle the wave. They do not lecture it. They simply outweight it, the way you outweight weather. And each wave outweighted makes the next one smaller. You have been fighting your urges. Stop fighting them. Watch them pass instead. What you do not feed grows quiet. The six. They tell no one what they intend to do. This habit puzzles people most, and the silent ones hold it most firmly. They do not speak their goals aloud. I watched the reason for centuries before I understood it. When you announce a thing, you receive a taste of having done it. The nods, the admiration, the feeling of being the kind of person who would do such a thing. And the mind, having tasted the meal, loses some of its hunger to cook it. The announcement spends a portion of the fire, so they stay quiet and let the fire stay whole. Their plans are seen the way mountains are seen, not promised, simply there one day finished, and no one heard a single hammer. The seventh, they rest on purpose. Hear this carefully, because the modern world has it backwards. The silent ones rest more deeply than the people around them, not less, but their rest is chosen. It is a decision, made in daylight, with a beginning and an end. The undisciplined never truly work and never truly rest. They smear the two together into a long grey paste of half effort and half escape, and they end each day both tired and unsatisfied. The farmer I watched the longest worked until the chosen hour, and then stopped completely. He sat by his fire as deliberately as he had ploughed. The bow that is never unstrung loses its power. He knew it. His fields proved it. The eighth, they return quickly. And this is the deepest one, so stay with me a moment longer. Every disciplined person I have ever watched, every single one, broke their discipline. The monk overslept. The emperor lost his temper. The stonecutter rushed a careless cut. Across thousands of years, I have never met the unbroken streak. It does not exist. It has never existed. What set them apart was the speed of the return. The undisciplined fall, and then spend a week punishing themselves for falling, and the punishment becomes its own swamp, and the swamp swallows the month. The disciplined fall, stand, brush off the dust, and take the next step before the shame can finish its first sentence. They forgave themselves quickly, not because they took the failure lightly, but because they took the road seriously. Every hour spent flogging yourself is an hour not spent walking. So there they are, 8 habits, and not one of them visible from the street. No announcements, no performance. Just a person who decided once, who keeps the unseen promises, who begins small, guards the morning, outwaits the wave, stays silent, rests on purpose, and rises fast. You may have noticed something as I spoke. None of these require talent. None require fortune, or youth, or anyone's permission. Each one is available to you before the sun comes up tomorrow. Which means the question was never whether you could become such a person. Sit with them. Let them find their place in you.